All right. Welcome to Stream of Consciousness. I'm soDugger. I am joined this week by my illustrious co-hosts, DStheOriginal and Bill. I'm doing it. How you guys doing today?
Doing well. A long day at work. Very, very long day, but I'm here.
I have very graciously interrupted my long-standing regimen of playing Diablo 2 all day to be here specifically for this. No, I'm happy to be here. It's great. I've been looking forward to this all day.
All right. Just some last minute sound check stuff going on. I believe I've got you guys set to their proper levels now. So last week, obviously, DS was out of town doing a job for his job. For his job. I believe you are going to be leaving that job like tomorrow, right? It's like the last day.
Tomorrow is my last day.
Yeah. So what does that feel like? How are you doing with that?
I mean, it's really good because it's for a way better job opportunity. But at the same time, it's super hectic and stressful, like in a good way. There's just a lot of moving parts that need to happen pretty fast because I quit my job. Friday's my last day. We move next Thursday, and then the following Monday I start my next job.
Oh, geez.
And it's 10 hours from here.
Okay.
So there's a lot, but we got a house set up. So we have a place already set up to stay. I mean, we have friends there to help us out, so it makes it a little bit easier, but it's still super stressful.
Production. We're swapped in our frames.
I see that. It is.
I am soDugger now.
Apparently. All right. That's easy to fix.
Too easy. Oh boy.
So
everybody
Bill
turned into a big Dugger for a minute.
Only if I could.
Bill, tell me a little bit about what you did today.
What did I do today? Today wasn't a very interesting day, if we're gonna be honest. I woke up, got my kids on the bus, and then proceeded to play Diablo 2 Remaster for the entire day. Because boy, have I been waiting for that game for far too long. Yesterday, however, was an exciting day. Had my first day at the new job at the parkour gym. Met a lot of really awesome kids. Got to teach with a really good friend of mine who I've been working with, training with, and teaching alongside since we were kids. I mean, God, I've known AJ since I was like 5 or 6. It's a really exciting day yesterday. And you know, an exciting day today, too. Despite the mundanity of just playing a video game all day. It's always fun to, to pull back that little nostalgia bone, Get back into a game that had affected me at an early age.
So people want to know, what class did you play first?
I am playing Trap Assassin right now.
Trap Assassin.
My first playthrough is Trap Assassin.
Okay. All right. Apparently, we're not going to get any love for the Druid, but it's okay.
Druids are good. Trap Assassins are just invincible. You don't do anything. You run around. You hit right click. Everything dies. It's fun.
Yeah, I can understand. What
did you do today, Dugger?
Besides resetting all of this information and this stuff for the stream and making all the assets for it, I played Hades most of today. So I think Bill and I have swapped roles a little bit. But yeah, I played Hades for most of the day, and then I did a little bit of yard work. I actually bought some degrasser because we're trying to kill all of our grass. And
you murderer!
I know. So
you
I
can't
poured
just
that.
Murder the grass, Dugger.
I poured that on the yard. We're wanting to get clover to grow, and so we're trying to kill off all the grass to get clovers up. So it's a process. So, but yeah, I did that kind of stuff today. So it was a pretty easy day for me. I went to bed like 4 this morning, playing Valorant last night with some friends. And yeah.
Not gonna lie, I woke up and saw you on Valorant. I woke up for work and I was like, I'm gonna see who's online. And soDugger is playing Valorant.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely
getting ready to go to bed, and I opened one of whatever many Riot clients, and I saw you playing Valorant, and I was like, yep, he's been sucked back in.
Yeah,
It's got him in its grasp.
it's a thing. Like, I'll go through stages of like, I want to play it and I want to be good at it and play competitively. And I did do my placements finally and get placed. Placed bronze 2, quickly made my way up to bronze 3, and then quickly lost my way back down to bronze 2. So we will probably be we'll probably be doing a little bit more of that in late nights sometimes. I just kind of can't do it till 4 in the morning. But yeah, it's got me again.
When you get older, like staying up that late sometimes, like the next day is just ruined. Then
The really silly part is for somebody like me with ADHD, it's my circadian rhythm just gets off, right? Like there'll be times when it's like 2, 3 a.m. and I'm just like, oh, it's like 4 in the afternoon. I'm fucking wide awake. And I just do not feel sleepy. And then there'll be literally times like right after I wake up or like a couple hours after I wake up during the day and I'm doing something that my brain has decided it is not interested in. And I will start to like micro nap. My brain will literally start to turn off and micro nap. I don't know. It's very terrifying to me because I have done that while driving. Like my brain will be like, this is boring. Turn off. It's sleep time. And it's like, God damn it.
Doug, have you ever had one of those moments where you're driving,
and you realize,
and then you just realize you're where you were going and you don't know how you got there?
Yep.
I do that at least once a week.
Yep, absolutely.
Anytime I drive more than like 30 minutes, my brain just full shuts off, and then I'm just like, well, we're here in one piece.
Yep, one
Good
piece.
news.
It's crazy. So to move it right along, this week we're going to be talking about work-life balance and how we kind of put those things together. Like, how do you balance like what streaming is as a career, content creation, as it were, and you know, a full-time job that is being a parent? How do you do those things? And the other thing I want to talk about this week is some of the news that came out about Twitch and the DMCA stuff, and we'll talk about what that means and the ramifications of it. And we'll get a little bit of our opinion about DMCA and some of that stuff a little bit later as well. But first, as somebody who has had to deal with this, like, over a very long period of time with multiple jobs and having to like build your stream back up and then have to like not stream anymore and build it back up and not stream anymore and just having to just deal with that. DS, talk a little bit about what work-life balance means to you.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I'm gonna kind of maybe run in that same situation coming up. I know, like for me, work-life balance. Right now, my job is kind of all over hour-wise. I don't have a set schedule. It's just kind of whatever they need us for. I'm going to say the biggest thing that's helped me, though, so far is having that stream schedule. It's just so, like, my wife knows when I get home, hey, he's going to start streaming at, 7:30 our time. So, like, we know all the things we need to do to lead up to that point, so nothing's a surprise. Like, we know when dinner needs, we need to walk the dogs, all that stuff. So I'm going to say a schedule is the biggest thing that's helped me balance that life, regular life and work and all that, and stream. I mean,
okay.
like I said, then like, it's basically, like I said, like, hey, if I'm getting home late, sometimes you have to rush to make it on time, which does suck. But at the same time, like, everybody knows, like, nothing's like a surprise, a secret. Like, everybody knows the time schedule of things.
Right. So in the times when you've had to like swift jobs, right? And you've had to like move, or you've had to have, situations where you have long downtime. How do you approach that with your community?
I think Discord definitely helps with that. Because it's kind of that Discord's that thing where you can kind of reach your community when you're not online. Like that. I mean, Twitter's the same way, but I utilize Discord a lot more. So I think, and just being vocal about it, like everybody knows that we all have things outside of stream we do, or outside of gaming. So just being upfront with that and letting people know as soon as you know, I feel like that's the best thing. Like there's been many times where I will work late and I can't make it on time. And if I put in Discord, I at people and say, hey, I'm not going to make it tonight. They're still going to show up my next stream because, it's not like they're going to like, hey, he didn't stream tonight. I'm going to go find somebody else I like better and never watch them again.
Right.
Like your community's still going to be there for you.
Okay. All right. Bill.
Man.
Work.
That's me.
Life balance.
Well, there's this convenient thing where I've been unemployed for like 4 months, which has made streaming much easier, made income significantly harder. But very much along the lines of what DS said, when I was working full time, and obviously I have 2 kids, got a family. The thing that helped me the most was saying, okay, on these days I am streaming at this time and that is my time. So everybody knows, hey, at that point it was Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday I would stream. And from 8 to midnight, that was my time. That was established that at that time I'm going to be at my desk. I'm going to be focused on my community and that side of my life, because streaming is my stress relief.
Right.
As much as I would love it to be a career, it isn't, at least not for me. It is for some people. But at the end of the day, streaming is like my equivalent of therapy. It's like therapy for a broke Bill, So yeah, definitely staying on schedule has always helped. And I mean, even on the topic of canceling streams or having to take time off, I'm very open with my community. Most of the people in my community know what's going on in my personal life. They know that there's currently some personal struggles going on. They don't know the specifics, but they know, I am not wholly available like I used to be, due to those things. So they've, come to accept, as I've always found that as long as you're an open book, as long as you're straightforward with your community, and I use the word community, but I don't think of the people who are a part of that community as just like my viewers. They're my friends. These are people who I've developed relationships with, and I can know when somebody pops in, like, oh, this person has this thing going on, or stuff like that. There's enough of a connection there to where we're aware of things, more or less. As long as you're out in the open about it and you say, hey, look, I'm not feeling great, I'm not going to stream today. There's been plenty of times where I've just posted in my Discord, hey, streams are not going to be as frequent as they normally are. So I try to stream 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes more, depending on how hyper fixated I am on something.
Yeah.
But it's always just been a matter of communication for me,
Sure.
between my community and my family. Like, this is what my expectations are for my stream, and making sure there is time set aside for me to be a streamer, and of course for me to be a dad, and for me to just be a person. You have to find that time as well. You have to find the time away from your stream and away from everything to just let yourself be you and not have to be performing or in front of a camera, in front of an audience.
Right.
So I think we can all attest to that. Like, even when you're streaming to 3 people, it's a performance to an extent.
Right.
You're still kind of an elevated version of that guy who's sitting at his desk playing video games 20 minutes ago. You know?
Yeah. So for me, I started, like, realistically, I started doing this streaming thing after I had lost my job. I have been unemployed since December. And for 3 years, I had a very well-paying job that, you know, was at the time pretty toxic, but it, you know, when you're on the inside of it, you don't really see it. So when I left that job, and I basically had a meeting, like, with my family, and I said, hey, I've wanted to do this for a long time. This is what I want to do, right? I want to do this full time. This is going to be my career. It's just, I'm going to make it happen. And they were so wonderful and so supportive, and still are, and still continue to be. And I went in full force. I mean, I think at the beginning I was streaming something like 5 days a week in February and March. I hit affiliate in March after like 3 weeks of like streaming. And I was just like, this is amazing. I was riding that sort of, you know, what do you call it? You know, period, honeymoon period or whatever it is. I was riding that high and I was burning myself out because I didn't realize that just sitting home all day and streaming, or just kind of throwing myself into the content creation without having anything for myself outside of that, was hurting me. And it was something that I had to learn really, really early. So really early on, probably, I think 3 or 4 weeks after I got affiliate, I think sometime in April, I basically just like took 2 weeks off. I was like, I am so sorry, guys. I literally cannot get out of bed. Like, I just was like, I was done. And, you know, the funny thing is like at that point, right, I'm still I'm really small, and I'm only pulling, you know, 3 to 5 people a night. Not really growing, not really doing anything, but my content was suffering because of it, right? And so it was a situation where I looked at it and I was in pain versus, you know, like, oh, it's just, I'm not making good content. Well, my content wasn't good because I wasn't in a good place. Came back, you know, and kind of reassessed what I was doing, dropped down to, I think, 2 or 3 days a week. And then I have been slowly adjusting my schedule based on the way I feel and the way that, like, I'm kind of introducing it. The other thing that I started doing while I was doing the big push was like keeping my YouTube channel just apprised of content. I was like spending hours a day cutting streams into 30-minute segments, doing all kinds of editing, uploading, you know, sound, color design. I was doing all kinds of like color correction and putting them on YouTube, and like all this work, hours and hours and hours of work. And I think I gained 2 subscribers for like 200 different videos on my YouTube or something like that. And it was really, really discouraging, because I had been doing all the work that all the YouTube videos and all the instructions had said, oh, this is how you do it. This is what you do. And it was a lot of effort that was not necessarily not getting rewarded right now, but it just did not seem to gather any momentum at all. And so one of the things that I decided to do was to focus on me. Focus on what I bring that's unique. What do I do? What do I think? And then I bring that to my stream, and I try to, or at least I try to bring that to my stream. And since I've done that, right, I don't have an algorithm because I'm just streaming on Twitch. I'm not really focusing on TikTok or Instagram or any of those places. I'm just really streaming on Twitch. Since I've done that, my growth is really slow, but it's steady. And the people who show up to my stream every night, because I stream 3 nights a week on Twitch and 1 night over here, which is where you guys are. Since I've done that, those people are the same people. And they, regardless of what I play, regardless of what happens, those people are going to be there every time. And to me, that is much more valuable than getting 5, 10, 20 new people in every night that then leave and never come back. I'd much rather have those 5 people who come literally every night than, 15, 20 people who cycle in and out every day. So I don't know. It's been a long journey for me. So,
I remember that when you were really heavy in the YouTube content and you were putting out videos, was it every day?
Every single day.
It was at least 1 a day. I was cutting between 4 and 5 videos a week. Yeah, at least 1 a day.
I remember that because I was I remember that I was talking to you that time frame a lot, and you were like doing YouTube content after YouTube content like every single day, and I'm like, how does this person have the time to edit that much footage for YouTube? Like, the grind was real.
Oh my God.
But also like you said, the burnout factor. And that's why I love stream schedules. And I will stick to mine. Even on days I feel like streaming, I will go in Discord and live stream in Discord. Because just like Bill said, like, even no matter what your viewer count is, you're doing that. You're trying to be an entertainer and keeping that hype up. That gets really draining.
It does.
To keep up that much hype factor the whole time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do enjoy just chilling out, hanging with friends, and being in a VC.
Like the Discord streaming is kind of an interesting thing that pops up. And I'm like, for me, it is really, really interesting because it's not a traditional streaming platform, right? But it's much more intimate than that, because it's like you're basically only connecting to your characters. But you brought up a good point, was talking about the grind, and I wanted to kind of move on to that as a topic as part of the work-life balance. There is a mentality out there that seems to have been pervasive throughout the entirety of streaming as a career. Is that the grind? Do the grind. Just keep grinding. Just keep grinding.
Grind is the biggest fucking lie on the internet.
Okay.
The most egregious lie on the internet.
Tell us how you feel, Bill.
Fucking grind. Boy, you're about to get me fucking started.
Okay.
Anybody who tells you that you need to start on Twitch and just grind, just be there and grind and put in the hour, fuck you. Straight up. Fuck you. No amount of grind is going to bring you success. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. You can stream 80 hours a week. If your content is shit, if you're burning yourself out, if you are at the point where your first stream of the week is phenomenal and the 7th stream of the week is absolute fucking garbage, your grind is pointless. There is no point in putting out a half-ass stream that you didn't care about. You just streamed because I gotta be on the grind. Fuck off. Like, I'm sorry, this is like real Bill. This is not the stream friendly, you can do it Bill. This is real life Bill telling you the grind is not fucking worth it. I did the grind. I know Dugger, you did the grind. DS, I'm not sure, but I'm sure at some point you were in the grind because you had to.
I didn't really, I'm gonna say this, I didn't really grind. I had a stream schedule set up. I streamed 5 days a week for the longest time. It didn't feel like a grind to me because like I wanted to go live and do it. And I didn't like say, hey, when I hear the word grind, it's like, hey, I got home off early today. I wasn't supposed to stream, but I have 4 free hours. I'm gonna hop online and go live on Twitch. Let's see what happens. That's what I feel like the grind is.
Yeah, I'm streaming because I can, not I'm streaming because I want to.
Yeah, like I had my certain days, and I still played on my other days, but I still didn't go live on the days I wasn't supposed to. Sometimes I would throw a random Saturday morning, like 5 a.m. stream when I couldn't sleep in there, just because it was fun. I didn't expect anything out of it, but I never really say I was on the grind like I see some people do. People that are every single day at night when they have nothing to do, you can tell they're going to be live on Twitch.
Yep, I did that for the longest time.
So,
sorry, that's a pressure point for me.
It is a pressure point.
The grind is such a pressure point for me.
I poked it on purpose. It is a major problem, I think, in the community right now that. And it stems from the fact I just got distracted by DS's
wonderful smile.
But yes, well, one thing perfectly. The mic arm. The
mic
arm that looks like it's photoshopped in. I just got distracted by it again.
I love that mic arm.
It is
so
much. Funny.
Because we all know it's real, but every time it catches my eye, I'm like, man, DS put some real effort into live photoshopping that mic arm in, and somehow suspending the microphone on top.
But I have been like listening and watching and kind of being on like Twitch talk for a long time, and to this day, I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of the larger TikTok creators who are Twitch streamers have specifically told people this thing doesn't work. This doesn't work. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that, because they don't work and they're just going to get burnt out. And I still see literally every day things I wish I knew before I started streaming, part 1007.
I don't like those videos.
They're all garbage.
First of all, it's all recycled content. There are 3 or 4 people on there who are literally recycling not only their old content, but other people's content and calling it their own. I mean, sometimes even down to like the script that they use, it's exactly the same. But the problem that runs into is that the same prevailing wisdom, right? Or anti-wisdom that comes from those is the follow for follow. Hey, we raid out of my followers, so follow me and we'll raid out, and we're gonna bring you the community, and you never get that raid, right? Because there's 10,000 people.
Even if you get that raid,
those people never stay, right?
It doesn't matter. There have been plenty of times where I have received 500-600 person raids and 30 or 40 follows out of that raid. And I've seen those 30 or 40 followers once.
Right.
And it was that raid.
Right.
That's not to say it's not appreciated. Seeing those big numbers come in, seeing somebody with a larger audience say, hey, I like what this person's doing, let's bring my community over there. It's awesome. And I love that. And it's a great nod from another creator. But anybody who is convinced that getting the big raid is going to make your channel, getting the big raid isn't going to get you to affiliate.
No.
Straightforward. That giant raid isn't going to be enough to push you from affiliate or from being, a non-affiliate to affiliate. It doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of if you want the raid because you want to make it on Twitch, if that's what you need to make it on Twitch, you're not going to make it.
Right.
If that's what you need to make it on any platform is for somebody to give you a handout, you're not going to make it.
That's correct.
I do want to vent about this as well, because I made a Twitter post about this. It says my Twitter post, I think it was if I see one more TikTok video saying drop your link because I'm looking for people to raid after my stream, I'm going to go fucking insane. Because here's the thing. Guess what? Those videos prey on smaller streamers that are new, and they'll have thousands of fucking comments. I joined one Discord because I want to see, and I know exactly what it is. It's a fucking pyramid scheme.
It is.
It's an MLM. Absolutely.
I joined this Discord to look at it, and they're like, hey, we raid people out of our Discord. We do all this stuff. And I joined just to see how there's no actual connection in that Discord.
No, there's no
Everybody is
organization
in there for
realistically.
their own self-serving ideas.
If it's funny because you can go to those Discords and look at the self promo channel that nobody looks at, and it's just blown up. It's just literally post after post after post. Sometimes that happen literally at the same time, and it's just constant posting in that channel. Nobody looks at that channel. In fact, I would venture to say that all of the people in those Discords have that channel muted because they don't want to see the updates from that channel. And I do want to address that actually. The streamer primer, as it were, right? The idea that there is a playbook of sorts for streaming or good advice for streaming. The good advice, the good videos of advice, will come from someone, say, like Catliente. They have a very practical approach to a lot of their advice. A lot of times it is technical advice, or it is attitude style advice. Don't do this because it puts people off. Don't do this, or do this because it helps your stream. But they don't ever, what they're not doing is preying on new people, right? Catliente blew up and literally like created her entire platform. And that is a huge example of like how to do it right. But also I want to point out, like, the way Catliente does her advice, she is neurotypical. She is not a neurodivergent person. So her advice is designed in a way to, work for those people. It doesn't always work for people who are differently abled. So there's a little bit of play there. And I would say that there is no such thing as like, here is the playbook that's going to get you successful. So many people have become successful in so many different ways that you could probably literally create a page of like all those things, right? Where it's like, there are as many ways to become successful as streaming as there are streamers.
Yep.
So,
and I think too, an important thing, because I have taken plenty of pieces of advice from TikToks I've seen. That's not to say, it's a very blanket statement to say all of those videos are garbage. The vast majority of them are predatory.
Oh yeah, they're very predatory. All of them. A lot of them are.
My approach to when I was building my stream was to just look at other creators. Go to your favorite streamer's stream. There is something there that, even beyond the personality of that person, that makes you want to keep coming back. Obviously, the person who is streaming is the number one draw for their audience. But there are plenty of things that I got for my stream that I pulled from other creators that inspire me. A lot of my stream overlay was stuff that I asked, because I built most of my community in Hades speedrunning. Stuff that I saw in other runners' streams that I was going, that would be really good for me to have on my stream. Hey, where'd you get that? How'd you do that? And more often than not, if you're approaching those people like, hey, I really like what you did here. Could you help me figure out how to do that? They're going to be like, yeah, it's actually super easy. Here, just do this thing and you're good. Like, that is how I built my entire stream was, I noticed one of my friends did this thing and I was like, hey, what's that thing you do? How do we do that? And they're like, oh, it's just this. There we go. I mean, down to like the position of my camera when I play Hades was because another runner came in. He was like, hey, I know you're probably not thinking about this, but where your camera is right now is covering your gold and your rerolls, which are important things in the context of a run. So just that thought of like, hey, move your camera 10 pixels to the right. Boom. That's it. It's those small practical things that those videos aren't going to give you. They're just like, go to this website and use this extension and do this thing, because they're driving traffic to the website.
Right.
That's it.
There's a lot of them too that they say that, but they have no explanation behind it. It's because it literally they stole content and didn't take the time to research it.
I want to back that up. Like, Today, I saw 5 different videos from 5 different creators today that sent me to Twitch Guru. 5 videos in one day from 5 different creators that sent me to Twitch Guru. And the thing is, Twitch Guru has been around for years, right? That advice has been around for years. Chi has a video from over a year ago about Twitch Guru. Okay, like
Which also mentioning Chi, another fantastic creator who does give meaningful and non-predatory streaming advice. Nubbins Inc. on Twitch, on TikTok, a great friend of all 3 of ours.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really great creator for this type of content.
and we can touch on them a little bit later as well. The thing that I wanted to sort of touch on and kind of really kind of talk about is the idea that the thing is that advice is still out there. The bad advice of like, you just got to keep grinding. You just got to keep your nose to the grindstone, because if you're not live, you're not going to get discovered, and you've got to be on the list, and you've got to, I've seen a couple of the like stream teams put this advice out. We're going to talk about them. We're going to put this advice out. And I've seen a couple of those people put that advice out to like say,
here to get the 2 of us ranting today. That's what this is.
we're gonna do it, motherfuckers. All right. So the stream teams, right? The people who like build up their little teams and stuff, they are putting out advice of like, make sure you set your title to this, so it's like clickable and like there's this and that, and like that's fine, right? Putting a pun in your title is something that I do to make people angry and come in and yell at me. Like those are.
You've gotten me with that so many
times. Yeah.
So many times. Your entire Final Fantasy X playthrough was just really shitty Final Fantasy puns, and I would come in to every stream just to say fuck you and your stupid pun.
Thank you for the view. Like that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Like we, the advice that they give is not necessarily bad advice. The problem is it's in bad faith, right? But DS said it earlier, you've said it, they're predatory. What they're trying to do is they're trying to boost their own analytics using you, because you're desperate to get that view. You're desperate to get that affiliate. You're desperate to get that payout, right? And
exactly. It's not even, like you're saying, it's not even that it's necessarily bad advice. It is passable advice with the wrong
intent. Yeah.
There is good. Okay, here not all stream teams are like this either. There are decent actual stream teams out there. They're few and far between though. A big one is when you see somebody go live on Twitter and you see all the hashtag small streamers, hashtag Twitch affiliate.
Oh,
that.
I literally, and I will never use those hashtags because, and I'm going to say this out of solid statistic facts, not because I want to downplay anybody, because I mean, you know me, I will never talk bad about anybody, even if they have 0 views and they're streaming. I mean, you're doing more than a lot of people just by going live. But I just use this for
viewer
facts.
count is such a bad metric for the quality of a stream. It's such a terrible metric. There's so many great streams out there with 2 fucking viewers.
But I saw somebody do all the hashtags, and I know they're in one of the stream team things, and they had 7 retweets. And that post was within 30 minutes. They have 7 retweets. I checked and they had 4 viewers.
So not even everybody who retweeted them went to watch them.
I mean, I yes. So like, and I'm not saying anything about having 4 viewers. I'm just saying the time you put into those could be better used on something else in your content than trying to join one of those predatory stream teams that literally everybody's in there for their own self. That's it. Like I hate those. And
can I lighten the mood real quick?
Go ahead.
Can I get a good note in here? I just received an email. I am officially on board with the new job.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Congrats.
I just got the email.
Tell us about what the job is now that you've got your email.
I am now teaching part-time at a local parkour gym. teaching alongside one of my childhood friends. It's super exciting. I'm sorry, I had to throw it out there because I just got super excited.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt the flow of conversation, but
No,
god
no,
damn
no.
it, am I
It's
happy.
good. It's good.
good
This
thing.
is the real thing. This is the realness. Yes. So we're all. I'm going to tell you right now. It may not seem like it, but we're all extremely excited for Bill to be teaching parkour because Bill needs to do something other
I do need to do something.
than sitting in his house and playing Fresh
Hades.
File.
There's permanent ass prints in this chair from how much I've sat in it in the last 4 months of not working.
Yes. He definitely needs to do something. We love that he's doing something that he loves. Bill,
I am gonna restart my camera real quick because it's coming
Okay.
to the stream really weird.
yeah, it's kind of fragmented. We're gonna be
It's like
messed up a little
completely
bit.
washed out on
Yeah, yeah.
stream.
It's better.
It should fix itself here.
Whoever gave you that camera's an asshole.
Is a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, I
Oh
know.
my god.
Some dude named DStheOriginal.
Oof.
What an asshole.
Imagine.
Can you imagine? So moving on to that, the grind mentality is incorrect. What is the correct mentality? And I've thought about this for a long time. And I actually have been giving advice to people who've said, like, you know, I'm trying to stream as much as I can and putting out as much content as I can put. And I've been telling people, stop, stream less. Don't stream nearly as much. If you're streaming 4 days a week, cut it to 2. If you're streaming 3 days a week, cut it down to like, you know, cut your streams in half and do 3 days a week, but cut your streams in half. If you're streaming 5 hours a day, do 3 hours, do 2 hours. You'd be surprised how much you can actually get in. And if you plan that 2 hours, like a planned 2-hour stream versus a 5-hour stream where you're just fucking randoming everything out, is so much better and received so much better than something else. And the thing is that content means more and can be clipped and can be, you know, used to help help put yourself into like an algorithm, like say TikTok or Instagram or, you know, YouTube stories. Those are things like YouTube is actively pushing stories right now and is blowing the shit up on those. So people definitely can get discovered on those platforms. If you plan your content, and what I mean by plan, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But you know, if you decide what you're doing, write down topics. If you're going to talk about stuff, you know, if you're going to be playing a game, like decide, like plan what you're going to do in the game and then try and go do it, like set a goal, right? It's similar to like Bill's streams where he's playing Fresh File. His goal is to beat Hades from a fresh started file to beating Dad without any power-ups or anything, you know, empowering you. It's a very difficult thing to do, but he has a plan. And that plan going in is, you know, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to record it. He may have some really good fights. He may have some really good, you know, splits, and those are content. That's content he can use outside of Twitch. And that's the kind of stuff that I mean when I say plan things.
And I think the way I heard it put that made the most sense to me actually comes from Chi, Nubbins Inc. He was the first person to tell me this. There's no point in streaming 7 days a week because where is the excitement?
Oh,
the
yeah.
reality is, there's a reason why you don't see a broadcast television show that isn't the fucking news that is aired more than once a week. Because you're going to watch that one time a week, and then your entire week is leading up to, hey, at this time, I am going to watch this thing that I enjoy. So go into it, say, I want to accomplish this week. You don't need to have a full content plan to where like I'm going to do this for this long and this for this long and this for this long, but say, hey, today I am going to stream this and I want to accomplish this.
I was laughing so hard just because while Dugger was talking the whole time about having a planned stream and planning stuff out, all I could hear in my head was Bill yelling at me about me doing a 15-hour stream that I posted 30 minutes prior.
You fucking idiot. You got... we're back on the grind my gears section of this fucking show. This guy, my good friend, Dunder Sniffles the Oregano. This guy will just randomly go, okay, I'm going to do this thing. First episode of Stream of Consciousness. You want to know who promoted it on his channel? It was me the day before because he hadn't announced it yet. This dude is the single worst promoter, planner, in content creation that I know. I love you to death, Derek, but you drive me fucking insane with this shit.
I posted on Twitter 30 minutes prior to doing a 15-hour subathon.
Nobody knew it was fucking coming. Nobody knew this was a thing. You realize there are people in your community. There are people in every single Twitch community that if you say, I'm going to do this subathon on X date, will literally budget in your subathon to their budget for that week or that month for the sake of just being like, I want to support my creator.
I just wanted to have fun. And I think that's what I wanted is I didn't want that.
You got it anyways. Like, who gives a fuck? It works. You can't argue with results, right? But, like, man, Derek, I love you to death. You are one of my best friends, and I cherish our friendship. But fuck you, man.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. But I do agree with the cutting back. There is one thing I did say to a good friend this week that was down a little bit on some stuff, and I said, like, even though like numbers wise, sometimes you have those streams that are really good and awesome, and the other times you have stuff that are a little bit lower on stuff. The quality versus quantity, I'm like really, really big on that. Is even on the nights that are like lower in numbers, but if you can make a more of a solid connection with your community and take that time, that slower paced night of chat where you can more solid connection with people in your chat, or have some conversations don't normally have.
Right.
That will help more of the quality of your stream, definitely, though.
Absolutely. It's part of the reason why, like, as a variety streamer myself, I change my game every night. I don't play the same game every time. It is rough.
It's super rough.
But you know what? I was talking about it before. The same people show up every night.
Mm-hmm.
I have a consistent user base. I have a consistent viewer base that will come every time I stream, regardless of what I'm playing. And that right there, it literally moves me to the verge of tears. There are people who want to come to watch my stream just for me, right? Just because they want to hear, me or watch me play any game. And even if it's like we're doing something like, what was it? We were ranking the console exclusives one time. And that is just random, something I came up with. I was like, I like console exclusives. Those are cool. Let's get people arguing. So I literally was like, we're going to rank the console exclusives one night. And then we went and played some Horizon Zero Dawn and loved it. Right. The thing is, they come in and watch and are there for me. And that is probably the biggest flattering thing and the biggest boost in my ego as far as a streamer goes that you could possibly have. They come in for me. They're there waiting when I'm going live. They come in for me. Sometimes they come in a little later. Sometimes it takes them a little while, but that's why, I play a bunch of different games so I don't get bored. My brain gets like broken and bored. I played Dream Daddy on Wednesdays for Hump Day, and I
never put that connection together. And again, Duggar, I hate you.
Yep. So
wait, what was it?
So Wednesday is Hump
Daddy.
Day.
It's a dating simulator.
Yeah, it's the dad dating simulator. I play that on Wednesdays because Wednesday is Hump Day. So we play Dream Daddy, and I love that game. But what it really allows me to do is it really allows me to flex my voice acting muscle, right? I get to do the voices of all the different dads. I get to go through and I get to be that person, and I get to be silly. The humor in that game is very similar to my own humor. And the group that made it, the Game Grumps, are huge here on YouTube. And I've been watching them for fucking a decade. I love them to death. And so it's a great game for that. right? But on Mondays, I typically play the game of the month, which is usually announced in my Discord. This month, it's Horizon Zero Dawn. On this Monday, I was like, I don't want to play Horizon. I want to play Final Fantasy. So I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. All the same people showed up. All the same people came in. And it was a fantastic stream. And I have slowly, and it's slow. I'm not going to tell you, like, DS, you're absolutely correct. If you want to grow faster, you play one game, right? You play one game.
But it's not the most healthy sometimes.
Well, we talked about that before.
Yeah.
Mr. Dauntless.
Oh, God.
The thing is, with my ADHD being completely unmedicated currently, and the way that I play games, I cannot play a single game forever. I can't even play it for multiple weeks in a row. I have to change things up. And the way that I'm building my stream, I feel like it's going to take me longer to get to my goals and to reach my goals. But I think that my foundation is going to be a lot better. Yeah. So, but anyway, I feel like that's something that's like really important, is that the communication with your community and making sure that they understand what's going to happen. Right.
I mean, I agree with you too as well. Like the solid foundation, because like I'm kind of known for playing a game for like 3 to 4 months and switching to a different game. I've done that with Valorant. Played Valorant a lot, and I got some people in my community too as well. It seems like when you're doing that, is like you'll get people there for the game, which is probably majority of the people, and you'll get a few people there that's sticks with you throughout. So you'll gain some regulars from that. But I also seen same thing. I would have people come every single night when we played Valorant and join, and then as soon as I quit playing Valorant, slowly just not show up again. But also I've gained some amazing people from the Valorant community that will either like right now Dead by Daylight with me, or or just to hang out and have fun. So I think there's ups and downs of both sides of being variety or playing one game. Like you're definitely variety will have the slower uptick of things, but I think it's more of a solid base versus the ups and downs of playing one game and then getting bored of that and going to a different game and stuff like that. So
yeah, but it's definitely one of those things where, like, if you're a Minecraft streamer, right, and you're streaming Minecraft, the minute you stop playing Minecraft, you're going to lose everyone whose attention span is less than 30 seconds long. It's just going to happen that way. And because the Minecraft community on the streaming community tends to skew really young, right? It's very similar to the Roblox community, very similar to some of those others. It skews very young in that crowd. And those people typically do not stick around or form relationships with their streamers. So it's just, that's kind of that sort of volatile situation where I'd much rather have 5 people who come every day, regardless of what game I play, versus 15, 20 people showing up for, one game a week and then having 2 people show up for the next week. Right.
That's a very good point though. Like, especially the different games and the different majority of the community, how they are. Like you said, Minecraft like has the majority, a lot of it's younger community. And then once you switch off to something different, like they're going to stay in that category. A lot of them sometimes when you're playing with that one game.
Yep.
I mean, I know Bill too as well with Hades. You've hit that too as well when you probably played other games.
Oh, for sure.
But people love staying in that one community.
Yeah, I mean, there is plenty of carryover from that community as well. I think with it being a speedrun community and being a smaller game, we're tight knit beyond Hades. We all still, we connected over Hades, but we're all friends outside of that. I think obviously, can I expect a good handful of people from the Hades community to come in if I am streaming MTG Arena, or if I'm playing Valorant that day, or if I'm playing Dead by Daylight. Probably not. But still, more often than not, a handful of them will pop in, hey, Bill, how's it doing? And then when I come back to Hades, they're all there full force. It's a more daunting thought than it is a reality. Because if all of us have more or less preached at one point during this show, like, your stream isn't carried by the game, it's carried by you.
Right.
The game you're playing may pull people in initially, but they're staying for you to begin with. So like there is always that daunting thought, and I think both myself and DS can kind of attest to that. When you switch from a game where you're very established into the community to something else, there is a very tangible drop in measurable numbers.
Oh yeah.
It's real. Like, it's just the reality. You are going to lose some amount of viewership, some amount of subs, some amount of, active chat, all of that type of stuff. But there's always those familiar faces that are going to follow you. In case in point, we have AI in here in chat. I met AI through Hades Bingo.
Hades
that
Bingo.
that was how we met. I was the scorekeeper for a bingo tournament that they had run in, and that's how we met. And now we both, at the very least, hop into each other's streams when we can, regardless of what's being played, because it's not about the game, it's about the people.
Right.
It's never about the game. You don't get to, even 5 viewers concurrently just because you're playing a game. That's not something you're seeing consistently just because, oh, you're playing cool game I like. You're seeing that because, yes, you're playing cool game that I like, but also I enjoy you as a person. All of you guys, both of you, I can just see at any given time the 3 of us sitting down on a couch, drinking a beer and watching a shitty movie. And that all spawns out of the 3 of us playing Valorant together.
Sharknado. Yeah.
I've
Definitely.
never watched that, but I will.
No, it's a trip. It is a fucking trip, Derek.
So to talk a little bit about, and to kind of finish up, the idea of taking a break and taking a time off for yourself, and to kind of piggyback on the self part of that, when you do not stream, when you've been like, okay, I have to take a step back, right? And Bill, you've talked about like the stream is your therapy. It's your, feel better, do better thing. When you are, and we could talk a little bit about how you gain your catharsis through that. But what I wanted to do is sort of like talk a little bit about the sort of the opposite of that, right? DS, you get burnt out on Dauntless. You take a break from it, right? You get burnt out on other games. You take a break from
guys,
it.
I need to step away for just a moment.
Okay,
You're good.
we
That's
got you.
what this whole stream's about. Real life versus
real life,
streaming.
real versus streaming.
Wait, was he wearing
Speaking,
pants when he got up?
hopefully, speaking of stepping away, what does that look like for you, DS? Like, do you have like a routine that you're like, okay, I'm not streaming, I'm gonna do this, or do you just like you back off from everything and you literally like 180 and just do not think about it at all?
I mean, okay, it depends. Like, I've never really got burnt out of streaming. There's been a few times where like, hey, I want to take an extra day off out of the week. I've never taken like weeks off or anything like that. I've never got to the point where like that. I've always felt really like I enjoy streaming. I mean, everybody enjoys streaming, like, but you get that mental exhaustion sometimes.
Right.
I've never got to that point where I was like, I need to take time off from streaming and stuff like that. there's been like, I think the closest I've ever got to that is when was very established in the community, and I switched and did a whole 180 on games. And that, as much as statistics, you tell people don't look at numbers, you look at numbers. There was one time I got very, very discouraged about that. And I still stream, but I think the biggest thing was I stepped back mentally to figure out, why do I stream? Like, what did I want to like originally get out of streaming when I first started it?
Right.
It wasn't I wanted to make partner, or I wanted to get a bunch of people in chat. I wanted to have fun and meet new people.
Yeah.
And I realized that is what I'm doing. So I think the biggest thing for me was just kind of taking that mental step back and realizing why I started in the first place. That's helped me out tremendously.
I think it was very similar to me. But for me, what happened was a lot of the sort of compounding mental health things that have been going on literally for everyone in this country, had just sort of started piling on, right? I'd lost my job, and I was streaming, and I was doing YouTube, and I was doing TikTok, and I was doing Instagram, and I was literally spending hundreds of hours a week trying to create content to, blow up, right? To try to get viral or go somewhere like that. And that just was insanely draining. And the process by which I came out of that involved me literally completely stepping away from like my channels, everything, for about a week. And I basically had to do the same thing. DS was like, why do I stream? Why am I doing this? Why did I start my channel in the first place? Why did I do that? And I had to because I was just doing all this random stuff. And I was like, when I was streaming, like when I was live talking to people playing a video game, I was having fun. It was literally everything else I was doing in order to try to get more people to my stream that was draining the life out of me, right? Because again, I was looking at numbers. I was like, man, I'm just, I'm only pulling 2 to 3 people. What is going on? I only got 3 to 4 people. What is going on? I'm playing fucking Ghostbusters. Who doesn't fucking love Ghostbusters? Come watch me play fucking Ghostbusters. And it was just this situation where it was just compounding all the problems. So I stepped away and I said, why do I stream? Why did I create my channel? And I said, and I came to the conclusion that I made the channel for me. I didn't make it because I wanted to create a community. That's something I do want, but that wasn't why I started the channel. I started the channel and I created my stream and I put things together and I put my effort into it because, one, I want to create good content. I want to create a good environment for my content to set. But 2, I wanted to find my love of video games again. I wanted to love gaming the way that I loved it when I was a kid, the way that I loved it in college, when I would spend hundreds of hours a week playing Diablo 2. It was this situation where I was not having fun playing any video game, even when I wasn't streaming, even when I wasn't doing this other stuff. It was like I couldn't sit down and play a game because I didn't love it anymore. And so I walked through a process in the business, not the streaming business, but in the spiritual business. We call it shadow work. But I walked through a process that basically internalized what my purpose for the stream was. And I redoubled my purpose and I said, okay, I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on one thing, that's having fun, playing games and loving the games as I play them. And that was when I started okay, cool. I'm going to play through Final Fantasy 12 because I love that game. and I want to play through all the Final Fantasies this year. That's my goal. And I played through Final Fantasy 12. And it was such a different experience, right? Because I loved doing it. And then we played through Final Fantasy 10. And so many people picked up on that energy. So many people came in and picked it up. And I have gained so many, actual repeat followers from those games. And I have found my love of gaming. I've found my love of video games again. And it's because of my stream. And because of the community that has just developed around, right? Not just me, but the three of us, the multitudes of other people and streamers that we interact with are all meshed into this giant gaming community, and it has made me love video games again. And that is something I'm thankful for, but it's something that I look back on as like, oh, that's why I started streaming, was so that I could be a part of that again. I could be a part of that love of gaming. And so my work-life balance, whenever I'm looking at it, whenever I feel something's off, I take a step back and I say, do I still love this? How do I focus on that? And that's kind of where I sit down on it. Like, I want to love gaming, and I don't ever want to put content out where I'm playing something because I have to, or I'm playing something because, oh, that's the popular game, right? I want to play stuff because I love it, for no other reason, for me alone. So that's kind of has been my journey as far as like stepping away and kind of creating space between me and my stream.
That's another thing too, as well. Though I want to say this because we were talking about this in chat a little bit. Breaks are healthy.
Breaks are very, very healthy.
If you get to the point where you're so mentally exhausted that you're really like just hitting that go live button, you're kind of like dreading it, take that day off because. And this is one thing I wanted to bring up too as well. And I think I've mentioned it to you guys a little bit. Having that steady foundation outside of streaming and having your real life going well helps out in stream so much. Because there's days like there's been days where I was streaming like I don't feel it. I had a bad day at work, and even though gaming cheers me up so much, and like talking to people in chat, being in that mental kind of funk is very transparent on stream sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if you're not feeling it, sometimes it is healthy just to take the night off, send a message out to community, say, hey, bad mental health day, I'm taking the night off, or even like I'll be in voice chat if anybody wants to talk. No one is going to think any bad about that whatsoever.
The other thing that works is if you're asleep on the couch, you can send your 4-year-old in to announce to your stream buddies that you're asleep on the couch. And yeah,
you missed that, Derek. But last week, me and Celeste were in here, and Duggar was AFK in the VC. He was the first one in here, and then we hear baby Duggar come running in. She just goes, "Uh-oh. My daddy's asleep on the couch!" And that was it. That was it. We were like, well, hopefully daddy wakes up soon because we got a show in about 40 minutes. It was adorable, and I cherished every moment of that.
Yep, it was fantastic. I'm sad that I wasn't recording it at the time because that would have been absolutely content on TikTok the next day. But yeah, so it's hard to articulate it really, but the idea of stepping away from your streaming less seems counterintuitive to the idea of growth, but similar to the way that I would advise someone who is like trying to sell a product, right? Because that's what I did for 25 years, is
really showing your age.
Shut up.
I love this group specifically for that. I get to be the baby of the group for once.
Oh my
It's
God.
great.
I get to be the baby. So because I did that for so long, I started teaching people to do it. And that was like my job, was teaching people to sell. And the idea is everybody walks into a store, and the guy who walks up to you first and is like, hey, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? That guy is not going to sell you anything, right? You're not looking for that guy because he's so desperate for the sale that it's off-putting. He's gonna, everybody's convinced that guy's gonna try to stick as much as he can on you. He's gonna try to, screw you over. He's gonna try to sell you something you don't need just to get the sale. And that may not be true. He may be completely obvious. He may be driven by bad management to engage everybody at that level. I have seen that actually happen. Bad managers exist, y'all. But the person who portrays and seeks out the sale in a different manner, who puts quality ahead of quantity, who doesn't try to talk to 2,000 customers a day, but he talks to, 40, but he gets all 40 to buy, right? And not only buy, but he understands the quality of what he's selling. And so they're going to buy better stuff. They're going to buy better things. They're going to purchase, better plans. They're going to make sure that they've got all the stuff that they need and not what they don't need, because he understands that if they're just going to go home and set it on the, ground and nobody ever going to use it, then it's not necessary. Right. Mm-hmm. I have seen that salesman in so many good streamers where their content is not forced. It's not something that they have to force themselves to sit down and actually do it, right? Just do it. It's just a toxic mentality of capitalism, right? And the part that I want to portray, and the part that I think both of you guys have said, is that when you take a break, you refresh that part of your brain. Mm-hmm. You allow your brain to kind of a mental reset, and you can actually sit down and be better every time, because its quality of your stream is going to go up. And to answer the question, the bad mental health day, but your stream is your therapy. The question you answer is, do I feel mentally drained at the end of a stream or physically drained? Is this going to mentally drain me out, or is it going to physically drain me out? And those are the two questions. It could be both. For me, streaming is a physically draining process. It excites me mentally, right? Going live and getting in front of people and performing and being this, right? This persona, this person, which I believe is me, but I've been masking for 30 years, so I don't know. That is physically draining, right? I'm a very animated person. My frame rate doesn't show that, but I'm very animated. But, some people, streaming is mentally draining, not necessarily physically draining, right? And those are people that are probably should take the day off in that circumstance. So it's a question that you have to ask yourself.
I'd like to address it as well, because I think I've been the outspoken one that streaming is my therapy.
Right.
So most people in my community, and I know you guys know, I am going through a very significant relationship issue right now. And as much as streaming can be therapeutic, as somebody who's been a performer all their life, myself on stream is just me magnified 20 times. That's really what it comes down to, is the bill that goes live is whatever bill is that day,
Times
just
20.
20 times more. So there are absolutely days. I mean, a good handful of you are in my Discord. You can go through my announcements page. There are days where I go, my stream is on an indefinite hiatus. I am completely mental boomed, and I know for a fact that even though I find solace in my stream, and I do find happiness in my stream, that the only thing that's going to happen is whatever depressive sinkhole I'm in that day is going to be made 20 times worse, because that's just how my brain works. And it's okay. It's completely and totally okay to cancel a stream. It's completely and totally okay to, even if you've got a boatload of momentum, just come out and say, guys, I can't do this. I can't do it today. I don't know if I can do it tomorrow. I don't know if I can do it a week from now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I find my stream therapeutic, and as much as I try to maintain a relatively consistent schedule, I stream when I want to stream. I stream, as a streamer, as shitty as this sounds, you get to choose the lens that people see you through. If you are having a bad day and you have that thought of, well, maybe I go live and I see this person and they come into my chat and they brighten up my day. You have to take that moment as well to say, am I going to stream just for hoping that this person shows up? When no matter how consistently they are there to view your stream, they are a person. They're not obliged to show up. They're not required to show up. And there's a more than 50% chance that they don't. If I go live with the hope of seeing this person show up in my chat, because I know that that specific person will lift me out of this mood, if that person doesn't show up, is it going to make my mood worse? And that's not even like necessarily an individual thing, I think every one of us has those like handful of regulars that, like, even when we're having a shitty stream, when their name pops up in chat, you're like, fuck yeah, they're here. So like it's important to look at it analytically. That's something that I try to practice in my day-to-day life, is taking the time to remove my emotions and just think of things as objectively as possible, as non-emotionally and analytically as you can. Look at those things. It's important.
I see a lot of people, and I guarantee you guys probably have too as well, streamers that once you can tell they start getting emotional over stuff, whether it's somebody doesn't show up in their chat, or one of their regulars or somewhere else,
or they've looked at their view count.
I
disable my view count for that reason.
I don't disable my view count because I don't think that really hinders me at all. I really don't. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
I mean, it's a day-to-day thing. Typically, I have my view count up, but if I'm in one of those ruts, like, I will turn my view count off because I don't want to think about if there are people here.
I have been in someone's stream where you should see them. They're looking at their screen playing a game, and then they look over, and then they look back, and their mood has changed, right? Yeah. And I love how both of you you both nodded and turned your head exactly the same way. Exactly. We've all seen it happen, right? Yeah. And it's that they literally just looked over at their viewer count. And I do the same thing. Like, I advise, and I know it doesn't bother you, DS, but like, that was one of those things where it was the same thing. For me, I look over and I'm like, what did I do wrong? Right? What did I do wrong? And I didn't do anything wrong, right? But like, it completely affects my mood, and it's visually affecting a person. And so it's one of those things where like you feel like a failure, right? And so I just turn mine off. I don't watch mine at all.
I feel like a failure every day. I don't need the viewer count to tell me that.
I think I'm just conditioned to it.
Except now you got this fucking new awesome job.
I do have this new awesome job.
Yeah.
I think
I can fail it
by
teaching
it.
kids how to not hurt themselves.
Like when I streamed Dauntless, I was I want to say a bigger person in that community. And like I said, just throwing analytics out there, there's some months there I was averaging 40 plus people.
But you've worked out since then, so you've lost some weight.
And
just
then,
let that one slide. Sorry,
I played a different game, and then I went low. Then I went to Among Us, and I was averaging over 30 people. And then I switched off to a different game. I went up and down. My whole stream career has been up and down, up and down. Find a game, going and getting in that community where people were watching me, and then switching to a different game. So I think that's why it doesn't affect me as much. Is I've went through this countless times, where I know regardless, I'm just gonna have fun.
I think
it's that whole concept of not streaming to stream, but stream because you enjoy it. Stream for you, and the other things will fall in place or not. But at the end of the day, if you're streaming for yourself, the fuck does it matter? Like, really, what does it matter if there's 400 people or 4 if you are streaming for your own fulfillment?
So there's a piece of advice that sounds hokey, and it's like a motivational poster, right? And I felt like making one of these at some point. But
Duggar, you swiveled in your chair a little bit as you were saying, and I felt like making one of these. I was like, is this motherfucker about to surprise us with a custom Duggar poster?
Just pull it in from the side. Graphic designer, I am one. So the thing I wanted to do, and is this sort of kind of motivational poster saying, right? And it's like, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Well, I changed it, and it's be the stream that you would watch, right? Put the content out there that you would want to watch, right? And that is what drives me to do the type of things that I do on stream, to create the background that I've created, to do the graphics, to, do all of that stuff. Be that thing that you would spend time watching. Because if you would watch it, somebody else will. You're not the only one. So
I have a good joke I'll tell you after this, though. It's probably not appropriate.
Not appropriate?
Look, how many times have I said the word fuck in this stream and just called people pieces of shit? Like, we've passed stream appropriate at this point, Derek. What degree of not stream appropriate is it? Let's get there.
It's first. Already this stream is already marked not for kids. Like, it's whatever.
Okay. Well, Duggar stated, be the thing you want to watch. So I was like, I need to be porn then.
You do have the Pornhub sound in your redeems.
You do have the Pornhub sound alert.
But yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not doing that.
DStheOriginal OnlyFans when?
It was a joke.
I'm just saying, DS, some of us are not doing that. But yeah, hot tub stream win.
Oh gosh.
When can we all get together and be in a hot tub on stream?
Imagine
hot tub of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a catchy title too.
Hot tub of consciousness.
Watch 3 dudes with dad bods sit in a hot tub and talk about meaningful subjects.
Oh God.
Yeah. We could talk about Twitch metas and Twitch news and be like, oh, the news of the day is Bill's butt, and then Bill shows his butt. All right.
Have you ever seen my horrible tan line though, Duggar?
Are you talking about the arm tan line? Let's see the arm tan line.
Can we get an example? There it is.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn down the brightness. I think I just blinded half the viewers.
Nobody wants to see that in a hot tub.
That was a whole ass flashbang coming out of that sleeve, DS.
Jesus Christ. Showing off the guns, and he's painted them all white. Yeah, better get Speedos. Yeah, so it's funny. You work outside. We get it.
I touch grass. My name's Derek.
I've seen the sun in 3 days.
Oh my god, I'm such a cool guy.
But speaking of Twitch, and kind of pivoting a little bit on that, recently Twitch announced that they were going to be doing a deal to protect streamers from DMCA, and the contents of that protection are discussion worthy a little bit.
Let's stop saying there's protection, first of all.
So there's not.
The TLDR of that entire article is maybe something will change. Nothing's changing right now. That is the contents of their agreement, is at some point maybe.
So the working idea is that if your stream gets a DMCA strike, Twitch will do nothing to the stream and not tag the creator, but they will instantly delete the VOD. So it is a situation where they've negotiated with DMCA or negotiated with the record labels that basically says, which is funny because Amazon owns a record label, and I don't understand why that doesn't. I'm not even going to get it. We'll get into that part of the other. But basically, if your stream live gets a DMCA, they'll delete the VOD. If the VOD gets a DMCA, they'll delete the VOD. That's the only protections that they're going to offer. The only time that they're going to offer DMCA strikes is if you are doing like a listening party of copyrighted music, right? Where they can demonstrably prove, and the RIAA can demonstrably prove that you're not listening to music, right? That you're actually doing something other than just a listening party.
Make a profit off of that music.
The good thing about that is that it allows people to play Tony Hawk. To be perfectly fair, they re-released Tony Hawk 1 and 2. They have one of the best gaming soundtracks in the history of gaming. It allows people to play Tony Hawk. Your VOD will get deleted. Record it separately if you want clips, but it sucks because they're just going to delete your VOD, but you won't get a DMCA strike, and that's the main benefit of it I see. But like built into some of the updated language in the law and the interpretation and some of the stuff that's happened recently, gaming should be protected under fair use. And the problem is it is not. They have been successful. Like it's just not. They successfully go after people for streaming copyrighted music. And the thing is like I was playing Kingdom Hearts a couple weeks ago, and the Utada Hikaru song comes on, and those parts of my VOD that song is in are muted on YouTube.
Yep.
And it's not just the sound that's muted or the music, it's all of it.
The entire section.
The entire section. And the same thing happens at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake. For those of you who haven't beat it, at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, they play the song from Crisis Core. The song from Crisis Core. Like, they play that song. And that song is the only song on the entire amazing Final Fantasy VII Remake album that is copyright, like, strikeable. On YouTube, they instantly delete that section of my video. Like, it's just a delete that section. Like, that whole part's gone. And on Twitch, they just muted the VOD. So it's this situation where they won't be doing that anymore. You can stream it without getting a copyright strike. You're not going to get taken down. But they are just going to delete your VOD. Like, it's just that's the reaction that they're wanting, and their compromise with the record companies. So
I just feel like there's so much more they could do with that.
There is. I think the big hurdle that we tend to overlook is it's all fucking politics. Like,
it's true.
at the end of the day, even if it makes a world of logical sense that yes, there is 1% of people, if that are streaming copywritten music for the sole purpose of, profiting off of said copywritten music. That's 1% of people that are making money that aren't multi-billionaires. I mean, there was very recently, Metallica's stream
I wanted to bring
for
that up.
Twitch.
Yep.
It was a Twitch stream,
Yep.
like on the Twitch channel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was
Got muted in the stream, performing their music from a law that they helped enact.
Yeah.
That they actively pushed. And it's the most hilarious fucking little piece of karma ever that a bunch of boomer metal guys got fucked by their own fucking greed for their money.
That law was written in 1999. A lot of people don't realize when DMCA was actually written and how long ago 1999 was.
I just feel like if it's not your main source of your content, I think that should be the thing. If it's your main source of your content where you're just streaming live music, that's different. But if it's like a secondary addition to your stream and not the main focus, I don't see anything wrong with it.
So that is supposedly what the compromise states, that they will not copyright strike your channel, right? They will not go after creators if it's not the main focus of your channel, if it's not the main focus of your stream. And that to me is a step in the right direction, but for me, it's not going far enough. I feel like Amazon has a lot more power here than they let on. And what is happening is you have a bunch of old white men who are in charge of the record companies, who have bought and paid for senators and judges, who have an interest in keeping DMCA exactly as vague and exactly as it is, written more than 20 years ago. And when the internet was literally in its infancy and there literally wasn't any type of video or streaming platform on the internet,
because Napster
literally
wanted to be a streaming platform.
Right. It literally wasn't.
That's what it was. It was because of Napster.
And so that kind of situation, right, is extremely rare in current days. Right. And so all the people who are making that decision, all the people who are pushing for DMCA strikes and kind of going after these things, a lot of it is automated now because they had these, crazy written algorithms that troll everything. But the people who pushed for that are the same old white men who pushed for the same type of thing and even tried to go after radio stations for playing music that they got from like CDs because it contained sampled songs, right? Like these are the same people who are like, fuck you, pay me. And the thing is they're not even paying their artists, right? This is not getting, that's not getting to the artist. Thank God some places like Spotify and SoundCloud and some of these other places are actually like promoting artists instead of record labels. But to me, it seems like the end of the DMCA, the end of the RIAA is going to all coincide with the end of record labels. You're going to start seeing more and more and more and more independent artists come out self-published because it's easy to do that now. If I made my own music, which I have thought about, but if I made my own music, I would just fucking make my music on Twitch. I would just make my music on YouTube and put it out there.
Cut and dry.
And it's not, right? It's not.
It's
because
so not that cut and dry. I actually very recently, a very small indie artist who I've been following on YouTube for, since I was like 15, released a new album and wanted to do a live listening of their music, the music they wrote, they produced, It's 100% their project. The stream got taken down by their label.
Yep.
It's
their fucking music.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
but also too now, like, I would think too as well, like you were talking about, more people are going to come out as independent artists rather than record labels. I was thinking about that the other day too as well, is look at the audio quality, the microphones, all that stuff is much more accessible.
Says the man with the MV7.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to do that, I'd like the SM7B, but because you see
Sure.
those everywhere on, and you also too as well, but you see high quality microphones that can be used in the studio on regular streams throughout Twitch now.
I
So,
would.
that stuff is.
If you want to
amazing
look,
now.
if you want to look no further than like going from major record producer to Twitch streamer, music producer, look at T-Pain. Look at his setup. My God, that man produces fire music on his Twitch stream. He is a full-on like conversion, and it's a wonder that more and more of the sort of larger creators aren't moving towards that type of medium where it's like I can just be directly connected to my fans. I can be directly connected to
There's a lot
distribution.
that's doing that, because like T-Pain
There
did
is
it.
now.
Yeah, there's a lot of like rappers and stuff like that are moving over to Twitch and doing very, very well.
Absolutely. I've seen people on TikTok who will come up with a sound or come up with a song, and then other collaborators, independent artists on TikTok, will add to that sound and create a song. Literally, I don't know if you guys have seen the I'm Not Pretty on TikTok, right? And it is a piece of music that was created by one artist, and another artist who's a music producer, but an independent one, basically said, hey, this is a bop, we're gonna make it. And so he mixed it with a bunch of different music instruments and mixed it together and did it awesome and released it back, and they collaborated it, and she has a fucking album now that she did all independently, with him and music produce, and like they've released it. It's on Spotify. It's millions and millions of streams. Like, the thing is, it's entirely possible if you have good music to get discovered through an algorithm like TikTok, through YouTube, stories, through Instagram Reels, and develop and sell and distribute your music and make money outside of the record labels. And they fucking hate it. They know that. They know that it's easier to do now, and they hate it. And they're going after everywhere they can, as hard as they can, trying to shut it down.
It's funny you say that, because I literally saw the same thing you just said with something different on TikTok. It was a video of a guy. I don't know if Bill, this might come up on your For You page. I get a lot of military stuff. It is a guy doing a cadence at basic training, and somebody turned it into a song, like a short little song, and somebody duetted that, and now they're coming up with a full song now.
I haven't seen that, but you need to send it to me if you can find it.
I will. Yeah. I mean, I can find it tonight after this.
You need to send that to me, dude. I'm a sucker for cadence. Can I be real?
Oh, it's
Can I be real? I miss fucking cadence. As corny as it is.
Also, too, like, my cadence voice is so much loud and raspy sounding.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna sit back because non-military brat here.
The voice of me calling cadence and me talking is so fucking astronomically different.
Yeah, like it when you're in that moment and you're out in front of like 60 people and you're screaming as loud as you can, the feeling you get's amazing.
Man, it really is. There's something about the unity of cadence calling. Like, fuck formation runs. Fuck formation runs where you're just running around the entire fucking base because the CG's like, today we're being infantry. But man, the actual moments within that are wonderful.
Oh, they're amazing.
We had man, as we get off track, we used to have our CG was infantry and a cavalry unit. And the CG was always gung ho about, battalion runs, regiment runs, the whole whatever. Every fucking cav company in the regiment was basically just taking infantry cadence and turning it into fuck the infantry. And boy, was it beautiful.
But yeah, it's nice now to see that high quality studio equipment is accessible to everybody almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still a pretty penny, but you can get that same quality.
So like, if you compared like my mic right here, right? Yeah. For everybody listening to home, my mic right here is about half the cost of what DS's mic was, right? And DS's mic is about half the cost of what an SM7B would be with full setup. And then, the high quality studio recording mics, right, that you see like Harris Heller use or whatever. Those are like, $2,000 microphones. The difference is the only people who can hear the difference between an SM7B, which is what, $500, $499, right? Still, or are they $399?
Yeah. I think they're $400 or $500.
Yeah, I think they're $499 still. But a $500 microphone versus a $2,000 microphone, the only people who are going to tell the difference are the people with the high quality mastering equipment. Because if you're listening through a stream or you're listening to an MP3 or on a CD, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between that. And both microphones are dynamic, so they're going to pick up every bit of your voice. And all it requires is a little bit of mastering, and you have a fantastic audio recording of whatever you want. And that's fully accessible for anybody who wants to get into recording. And like this microphone here has a lot less going on. It's not a dynamic mic, it's a cardioid mic, but it is, you can hear the depth of the voice versus say something like DS's MV7, which is, very similar to the SM7B in make, model, and design. Like the capsules are slightly different, but they're basically the same mic. And it is, if you know what you're doing and you know a little bit more about audio, you can make this mic sound nearly as good as that mic, right?
The thing I like about mine is I did nothing. I literally plugged mine in, and I don't have filters on my stream. I don't have anything. It's just microphone.
Yeah.
Here's the good microphone. This is exactly the way I have the package when it was sent to me. I have not touched a damn thing on this microphone since I received it. Beautiful.
And I'm over here learning audio balancing and mastering in order to sound better, when really all I needed to do was just buy a fucking Shure mic.
I literally have no filters on my OBS.
I have a lot of filters on my OBS.
That is so ridiculous to me.
I had to actually turn off one of my OBS filters because I realized that I was absolutely fucking destroying my limiter. I pulled my fresh file VOD from when I finally got my fresh file clear. The entire pop off is gone because I hit the limiter and it was just like, nope, not today.
That's crazy. But yeah,
it was a good pop off too.
I think you're right. I think, high quality recording materials are accessible now. Where they weren't before. The experience and knowledge is also accessible. Learning how to master, learning how to listen for what you need to listen to. Hell, I've been learning how to play guitar on YouTube. Right? So it's like, you can teach yourself how to do that thing, and you can be you can do that kind of music, you can do that kind of content and still blow up and not need a money infusion from a record label to write an album. And you don't need to produce all this extra stuff and go after being signed to a label. You don't need that because you can do it on your own now, much, much easier than you used to. And they used to hoard that equipment. They used to keep it for themselves, and they don't do that anymore because they can't, because so many other people have produced good stuff.
there's so many different competitors now
Yeah.
of different things, and there's so many. I mean, I'm even seeing it now. There's a lot of what was it? I forget which brand it was. Samsung. They came out with their mic to rival the SM7B. The Q9U or something like that. I forget
Something
what it
like
is.
that. Yeah.
But there's a lot of companies trying to hit those different price points, and competition is great because it just makes everybody either get better or drive their prices down to sell their product.
Yeah, the Q9U Dynamic XLR
Yes.
USB. It's basically an MV7, but it's got the same, level of capsule set as the SM7B does. So it's a fantastic. I mean, it's
looks nice.
fantastic looking mic. XLR sensitivity is 57 decibels, which is insane. So,
Because I was looking at that microphone before I got this one. I was in between those two, but I didn't see enough reviews that I thought it was good enough for me. So
right. The other plus to that is the fact that it's $50 cheaper than the MV7.
Well, that's another thing I was talking about. Like the price point. It's either gonna make people drive up the quality or the price gonna drive them down.
Mm-hmm. So this is an excellent. If somebody's got $200 to spend on a mic and you want an XLR or you want a USB mic that can become an XLR mic eventually, this is a fantastic option. At $199, it's only $30 more expensive than the Wave Link or than the Wave 3. So
I mean, the Wave 3 is an excellent mic too as well. It just don't have the XLR option, correct?
it doesn't. It's USB only, so it's USB 3. It's got USB-C on the back to USB 3.0.
I mean, with the Wavelength software, with that or the mixer.
So the new Wave XLR actually allows you to use the Wavelength. I believe it allows you to use the Wavelength software with an XLR mic. Okay. So I could hook up an SM7B or a Samsung Q9U to the Wavelength XLR or the Wave XLR and use the Wavelength software, which allows me to have independent submixes and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, like to bring it back, after you've come back from your breaks, after you've recentered yourself, how do you set, like, because obviously the direction of your stream was going in one way, right? And that is not the way you wanted to go. How do you recenter yourself? How do you refocus and reprioritize your stream?
Are you asking Bill or me?
Both of you.
Okay.
You go first, DS.
Okay, well...
And I got time to think now. Fuck you, Derek.
I think to refocus my stream, there's a lot of when I switch games, I try to figure out, and like we were talking about this, content creation is a 24/7 thing. It's like going to bed, waking up. There's been times where I can't sleep because I'm thinking about stream stuff, or I wake up and the first thing I think about is, okay, what can I do to better tonight's stream? I think literally that's the biggest thing is when I'm playing the same game over and over, I don't have to really, I want to better myself and I always think about what I can do better, but I don't have to deep dive and try to redo everything to make it exciting. So I know what's working has still been fun, but I don't want to get boring. But switching up games, that takes a whole rework of stepping back, like a lot, and figuring out where do I want this to go? Like, what do you want to have it be? You want to do good in the game? Do you want to have it being interactive? Do you want to be fun? Trying to figure that out. That takes, like I said, 3 steps backwards and then slowly getting back into that to figure it out.
And then by the time you've figured it out, you're ready to change games again.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works.
I would say
that killed me when I switched to Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to get good at Dead by Daylight. I'm going to get rank 1 killer. And then I did it in like a month. And then I was like, fuck.
That game kind of forces you to binge play it, though.
To an extent. For my ADHD brain, it was a fun hyperfixation for about a month.
Yeah. I would say that the way that I would try to recenter my stream or try to come back to content that I want to create is I have to do kind of what DS asked, like, what is my purpose? Right? I pass butter. Oh my God. So I find out what my purpose is. If my purpose in the game that I'm going to play is to just beat the game, then okay, well, I have a goal each night. How do I do that and do it within a certain amount of streams, right? The other part of it is it depends on the kind of content you want to create. Are you a player of COD who wants to shitpost and talk shit to everybody? Cool. Then your job is to go get into fights and, you know, listen to death say, like, you know, listen to like all the bad people talk when they die, or, you know, shit on them in 1v1s, like whatever, right? You know, record your lobbies and all the people being racist and sexist, and then call them out on TikTok, whatever. You know, the squid model, as it were, like that to me.
Somebody say squid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Squid.
Yeah. But like there, you know, you got to have a purpose for your content. And so that purpose becomes your priority, becomes your center. And then you say, okay, well, for example, my stream, we play games for the story. We love to experience the adventure together. That's kind of the whole idea, right? Come on an adventure with me. You're part of my party. We're going to experience this adventure together. So I play through the games as if they were the story and the storyline. So I always try to have a goal each stream to sort of have story events happen, right? So we can go through those things. In a big open world game like Horizon, it's a little harder because you can get to a point where literally all you're doing is collecting shit on the field and there's nothing happening. So it takes a little bit of like forethought and a little bit of game knowledge. But, you know, with other games, for example, competitive games like Valorant, right? The story is not the storyline of the game. It's the storyline of the people. It's the group of people that's playing. Like I was playing competitive on Tuesday during my indie game day because Valorant's an indie game. Everybody, it's an indie game. It's not a triple A. Small indie company, Riot. They only got like 4 employees or something. I don't know. But technically they are an indie company. But that said, the story becomes, or the adventure becomes, the dynamic of that group of people, right? Your team. And it becomes your journey through competitive, or it becomes your journey through your games that night. And so as long as you can frame their thing, it doesn't have to necessarily be, oh, I only play RPGs, or I only play this, or I only play that. You can play anything as long as you can bring the story out. And that's sort of the purpose of my stream. So when you look at different streams, when you look at different, you know, purposes, you find, okay, well, what do I want to create? What do I want to make? And then from there, you find your purpose. You find your center, right? Bill's stream for a long time was, I'm going to fucking take the world record from this guy, right?
That one didn't come to fruition.
It didn't, but you know what? You created content that was based around that. That was your center. That was your thing. Right now, it's what, Fresh File, and I'm probably going to end up being Diablo 2 a lot over the next couple of days.
Diablo 2 is definitely taking over the stream for at least the next week.
Yeah. So, like, your adventure is going to be the remaster of Diablo 2, right? And so that's kind of the idea. If you were looking at it from my lens, right? But from your lens, you're probably like, I fucking love Diablo 2, and this is what we're going to do, and you guys are going to fucking love it with me. And like,
you're goddamn right. You could not hit my fucking brand any better than you just did. My entire brand is I fucking love this thing, and I'm going to make you love it as much as I do.
I figured.
Damn it, Tugger, you're too good.
Yeah. And DS's brand is, I'm just going to have a great time. We're going to play a game. We're going to have a great time. We're not going to, like, get all crazy. We're just gonna I'm gonna have the baby on. Hey, there's a baby, and
There's a baby.
yeah, I'm gonna go walk the dogs. I'll be back. I'll go live again. It's fine.
And then this idiot always invites me into his stream and just welcomes the Chaos Gremlin.
Yes,
Of course.
So,
what
but
is it?
yeah,
It's
it's all about good vibes and feeling good and having fun and there's no controversy. It's just
Harmonized chaos.
harmonized chaos and really good games and we love DBD and I'll play really toxic ass killer called the Huntress and then yeah, it's really really fun. So, but yeah, that's totally DS's vibe. And honestly, we're all similar in that we all stream, but we couldn't be different as far as our approach to streaming.
Different.
We're very different.
Yeah, as far as our
absolutely.
creators, we're very different, right? I'm wearing fucking fingernail polish, and I have crazy hair. DS has no hair, and Bill is growing his hair back. Oh, he's took the hat off. He got the hat off, everybody.
The hat's off.
The hat's off.
The hat is off.
I win,
prove
I
it.
think, $20. I think fucking Goose owes me $20. All right.
I'm not bald.
Okay. So, but yeah.
Goose owes you $20. Goose, what the fuck?
No, it's fine.
Owe me $20.
But yeah, so that's sort of the idea is we're similar in that we all stream and we're not necessarily completely similar in age, but we're pretty close. And then, but our content creation, our creators, as creators, we're vastly different. And that's okay, right? And that's why we get together like this and why we talk about streaming from our perspectives.
I think
With
that's
that,
why we get along so well too.
with
I think
that,
all
true.
three of our styles contrast each other
yeah,
and complement each other just as much.
I think
But
so.
it's like that Venn diagram. We're all different, but we kind of a little bit in the center.
There's definitely some overlap in some
There's
places.
a bit of overlap everywhere, yeah.
As we talk about that, and as we talk about the stream of consciousness, it is really, really great to end our third episode with you guys, where we sit around in a Discord call and just bullshit about whatever we want to talk about. And hopefully we have all gotten something out of this conversation. And if we have, then I know that everybody watching on the internet has also gotten something out of this conversation. Bill, tell us where we can find you and what you're up to.
I mean, you can find me here every Thursday for another glorious episode of Stream of Consciousness. If you enjoy the Chaos Gremlin energy, you can always find me on Twitch. Man, whenever I'm feeling it. Right now, we don't have a schedule. I know we talked a lot about keeping a concise schedule. Right now, my life is a whirlwind, so I'm streaming when I feel like streaming. Typically around 9 a.m. during the weekdays because the kids are at school. But all in all, you can find me at twitch.tv/I'mDoingIt_. Same thing on Twitter. You find that's my name everywhere. If you want to find this Chaos Gremlin, that's where I am. Same thing I like to say every week. Guys, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Know when we're going live next. Granted, this is on a schedule. We're
This
here
is.
every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Some combination of the three of us and a guest, maybe sometimes, will be here. There will be three faces on screen, and at least two of them will be familiar. If anybody has suggestions for topics or things of that nature, please leave them in the comments. Let us know. We are really just three idiots talking about whatever we can think of a day beforehand. If you have a pressing topic you want to hear us talk about, throw it at us. We need content, baby.
DS, where can we find you? And what are you going to be doing?
This is the interesting part. So I kind of wanted to branch out a little bit to some YouTube, maybe some TikTok coming up. Just because with I want to be a new job here in about a week and a half, and I'm moving 10 hours west. So work hours wise, I don't know how well a stream schedule will work out in the near to far future. So I'm trying to branch out a little other platforms, because I feel like the stuff that's not go live at this time might be a little bit maybe where I go to in the future. I don't know. I love Twitch, love the community there. I'm gonna try to hang on to that as much as I can. But DStheOriginal on Twitch. I have one TikTok of me eating a pickle on that. You want to go watch that?
On TikTok.
It's a wonderful
I
video.
eat pickle on TikTok.
But yes, I usually go live on Twitch a lot. That's my main platform, and here on Thursdays with you, wonderful people.
I have been soDugger, and this has been
soDugger.
Stream of Consciousness. You can find me on Twitch Monday through Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, playing random games because I feel like it. And you can find me here on YouTube at this channel every Thursday at 7:30 Central with my two good buddies. Sometimes Bill,
Are we
I'm doing
sometimes
it.
good buddies, or are we
Or
sometimes
sometimes
You're
here?
sometimes here. But Mr. Bill, I'm doing it. And Mr. Derek, DStheOriginal, thank you so much. And thank all of you at home who have watched. This has been Stream of Consciousness. Good night.
Hot tub of consciousness or bust, baby. Woo!
Let's go.